All right, Yvette, go ahead.
We did fluent aphasia. From what I gathered, the speech is effortless on the person that suffers from it. Bucketings of the words are impaired. It's a result of a lesion in the brain from the Wernicke's area, which is the part of the brain that deals with language and comprehension. It's also known as sensory posterior and Wernicke aphasia. Basically, they can speak easily, but what they are saying has no clear context, or you really can't make any sense of it. They also are only able to understand like basic nouns and verbs. They have problems finding words and will substitute with something of no relevance. The book said the speech sounds something like Jabberwocky, and I didn't understand what that meant, so I went to Google, and it said it's an invented or meaningless language. And the example that I kept finding was from Alice in Wonderland, and the example was Twice, Brelig, and the Slithy Toves did Gyri and Gimbal and the Wabi. Mimsy were the Borgoves, and Mom Raph's Outgrade. I don't know. They are unaware of what they're saying and get frustrated easily because nobody understands them. Basically, they can produce words and speak with no problem, but they have difficulty understanding the meaning of the words. And also their reading and writing and language comprehension is deficit. So I wanted to find something that related to actual dementia or stroke. So I found a video on YouTube, and it was an interviewer. She was interviewing a person named Byron. And she said, "Hi, Byron, how are you?" And Byron says, "I'm happy. Are you pretty? You look good." And the interviewer was like, "What are you doing today?" He said, "We steam with the water over here at the moment. Talk with people them over there. They're diving for them at the moment without saving the moment. We will have water for him very soon with luck for him." Interviewer says, "What were we doing with the iPod today?" He says, "I like to make change for my hands. It was happy. I would talk with Donna sometimes. I play golf and hit trees and play with a lot of hands, and we save a lot of hands on hold for people for us. I don't know what you get, but I talk with a lot of hands friends. Sometimes I talk of any more of this sand." Then the funny part was the interviewer was like, "Thank you, it's been a pleasure." And at the end, he's like, "Have a good day." He understood that part. So in the video, his speech was effortless. The words came out. His demeanor was fine, but it made no sense at all.
Yeah, Becky, I was just thinking, it almost sounds like a word salad, doesn't it?
And that was going to be my question at the end. Thanks, Becky.
Oh, yeah. Well,
now you need a new question.
Yeah, now you need a new question. That is, though, it does remind me of a word salad, but not a word salad because that is a symptom of schizophrenia, not of dementia, right? So that was really interesting, though. That's awesome you found that. That'll be something maybe in the future I can show for a class. Okay, thank you.
I'll send the link.
Yeah, that was awesome. Okay, Casey or Danielle?
We have she wrote her stuff down, I wrote my stuff down, so you want us to split it?
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Danielle.
Okay. So what I found, we did non-fluent aphasia, which is also called Broca's aphasia, is because it is often associated with damage to the Broca region of the brain, which is in the frontal lobe, kind of where you would see near your temple area up here. The people have trouble with fluent speech, but they can comprehend something okay. So comprehension isn't bad. They're limited to short utters, typically less than 4 words. They struggle to produce the proper sounds and the right words when they're speaking to somebody. Verbs tend to be harder than nouns. They can understand simple speech, and an example I got was they couldn't understand someone saying, "Mary gave John balloons." But if you said it, "The balloons were given to Mary by John," they would be confused and wouldn't understand that statement. So you have to speak very simple, plain terms with people with it. And they can read, but they're limited by the difficulty of what they're reading. Go ahead, Casey.
All right, so it says that And he also said that they can't usually speak more than 4 words at one time. But in like very severe cases, they could sometimes only speak like 1 word. They utter 1 word and then they'll utter it again and again before they move on to the next word. So I got that from watching a couple of videos of people with this non-affluent aphasia, and so in the severe cases they could only utter about 1 word, but in the non-severe cases they could typically work their way to tell a story, but they could only do like couple words, and then take them 1 more try of doing those same words, and then move on to the next one and the next one until they finish their story. So the one guy, they asked him to tell the speaker or the person that was listening, wanted him to tell her about eggs and what he thought about eggs. But he had such a severe case, the whole over here on the left side of the brain was just all pitch black in his scans. So it was all dead, completely dead, and he could barely muster up the 1 word. So he just said eggs repeatedly. But when she would talk with him, he could follow her sentence and talk almost normally just because of the way she was talking. So they know what they want to say, but they can't quite get it out. In this video, he was getting really mad because he could only say the 1 word, but he knew what he wanted to say. He couldn't do it. And so I found like a treatment option that they're trying to do, and it's called audio visual speech. So the person who has the non-fluent aphasia, he watches or has headphones on and watches a video, and it's of the mouth talking, and he can pretty much, when you try to mimic somebody, you say a word right after they do. So you can say that very fast or talk decently fast, and he could follow your speech. So for instance, she would say like, I like eggs very much, and he could say it if he said the words right after her. And from the research they did with this is, over time, a person with this will like slowly their brain will start to be able to develop those patterns to create those sentences instead of just 2 words at a time.
So
that's what I got for it.
So they can mimic or repeat.
Yeah, so like little kids that will sit there and copy you when you try to talk, or somebody playing around with you, they can do that to a certain extent.
Okay.
If they can see your mouth moving at the same time as hearing your voice.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm actually, like, you guys so far, I mean, I'm really impressed that you guys went and watched videos and things of that nature to really get an idea of what this stuff looked like, because I haven't even watched those videos yet of those. So I'm actually really impressed that you guys thought to do that, because that really solidifies it better for us to knowing what that's looking like versus us just reading about it in a book. So really good job, you guys, with that. So go ahead, Becky. Oh, you want to go next. Are you going to type or are you going to talk?
I'm going to talk.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So I did global aphasia, and the book had very little about that. It's in the left hemisphere of the brain. There's lesions, and it affects the language areas of the brain. I found a couple different things about it, that it's the most severe form of aphasia, and the patients that have this, they produce very few recognizable words, and they really don't understand very much of the spoken language at all. Let's see, it affects the Wernicke's and Broca's areas, which again makes it hard for them to understand language. It makes it difficult for them to access their vocabulary or use grammar, and definitely enables them or makes it hard for them to produce words and sentences. It's usually caused it can be caused from a stroke or from brain trauma, and it usually improves rapidly after the first few months after the stroke if the damage is not too extensive, but if it is more severe damage, then it could be a permanent thing. I also found, let me see where they put it, that some of the things that can accompany this condition is hemiplegia, facial apraxia, which is difficulty coordinating facial movements, and emotional, they have difficulty regulating their emotions, and depression is another thing that can coincide with this.
Emotional dysregulation, and I'm sorry, what was the last thing?
Depression.
Oh, that's right. So did it seem like the patients were, or the people that have that are aware, like, because they're having a hard time understanding the language, well, or is it more so that they just, because of the damage, they just don't know?
If they more so just don't know what's going on because they don't understand the stuff that's going on. They don't understand what anybody's saying to them.
Okay. Man, that's hard.
Yeah, and this is the
most severe type.
The most severe type.
Okay.
There was one other thing I wanted to say. Hold on, let me find it. Yeah, they have trouble reading, writing, speaking, and understanding speech.
Okay.
And it also says that they do, while they can't understand speech, they recognize familiar people, like names. Mm-hmm. They can recognize names, and they are able to follow whole body commands. So it says, that some of them are mute, and others can produce like some sounds.
Okay.
But yeah, they can understand whole body commands, but other than that, and they can recognize like people's names, but other than that, they don't really understand anything else.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That was a lot of info on that. I'm taking notes, by the way, you guys. That's what I'm doing so I'm not just not paying attention. Okay, so I'm at 12 minutes and 40 seconds. So if the next group here thinks they can get it done in 3 minutes, then let's go for the next one. If not, I'm going to stop the recording, let it upload real fast, and then start the next one. Oh, you have to type? Okay. Well, you know what? Let's just stop. I'm going to stop.